Hi, this is your host, Eric Young. I'd like to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Jon Griffin. Jon has performed his music at TED Talks, spiritual organizations, and alongside many well-known musicians. He's an amplifier of encouragement, and with his healing sounds and music, holds a space for individuals to connect with their core truths and universal consciousness. Jon believes that sound is a tremendous healer that can reach the heart and energetically vibrate with all parts of the body while calming the mind and stimulating the soul. From the use of crystal bowls to binaural beats to somatic biofrequencies, all of Jon's sound healing is infused with the energy of intention. Today you'll discover how to amplify awareness, becoming more conscious of the life you are creating, processes to align your personal will with the will of the cosmos, and how sound and frequency manifest an energetic field around you that attracts exactly what you desire. Jon, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the call.
Eric, well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, could you maybe take a couple of minutes and just share what you believe to be the major turning points that have allowed you to manifest your current level of success?
The turning points would have to be my entire life. I tend to fall more into the belief that we often spend our time looking for particular points when things suddenly just line up and they shift, almost as if we land on these single points where our entire life shifts and changes. And I think part of what that does when we do that is we start seeking potential moments of that out. This can be a good thing and a bad thing, but sometimes I think it can pull your attention away from what's actually showing up in your life and what's actually happening and move you to a place of missing out on what's happening around you. So I would say that honestly, one of the biggest contributing factors to what I've been able to manifest in my life and what has just been a blessing in my life as far as what I've been able to create and manifest and share and connect with people has been my willingness to be present in this moment and paying attention to what is actually showing up here and now.
That's a really interesting kind of thoughtful way to answer that question. I appreciate that.
It might seem a little off mark, or I can definitely talk about events in my life that have been pivotal. I really think though that in each of our stories there is this beautiful arc that happens. We each have this incredible contribution of consciousness that comes through our existence, that comes through our being. And that consciousness is here to learn from us really just as much as we're here to learn from it. So that marriage of staying present in that point of consciousness is huge. Now, I've had incredible experiences in my life where I've gone to, like you shared, I've played with some unbelievable musicians. I've done vast studying. I've traveled around the world. I've been up in the Himalayas, hanging out with monks. I've gone through India studying sound and Ayurvedic medicine, and I've really made a point in my life to move around the world, move around this planet, connect with as many people as I can to resonate with what we're all doing here, which is connection and unity and love. And I think when we come from that energy, when we come from that place, really what shows up in our lives, what possibilities come up, those points that we can look forward to, they totally shift and they become something that really allow us to find any possibility, anything that we might want to manifest, anything that we might want to invite into our lives, simply, honestly, by awakening to a present state of self. Right now we are all here listening to this call, listening to these words, and there's a million other things that are happening around us. And many of those things will affect our attention and might even affect our bodies, right? If we're in an environment where there might be traffic outside or a moving truck or something that could be shaking the ground, that's going to pull a certain amount of our awareness, of our attention in that direction. And on a daily basis, we have so much information that's coming at us that it can be challenging to hold our attention and to hold our awareness within the present moment. And when the things that start distracting us and pulling us away are our own thoughts, well, that's when we can really shift our self-perception. And that's what I try to work with people mostly on, is crossing that threshold of where are the limiting beliefs and that restriction in your self-perception that keeps you from recognizing yourself as a beautifully divine being of love and light.
That is beautiful. I mean, this sort of stuff just really excites me. I mean, I know you're into sound healing, and that's one of my personal just fascinations. So I mean, this topic in particular is really near and dear to my heart. So, could you maybe tell us how you got into that and why it's important to you? I mean, sound healing is kind of an interesting niche to find yourself in, I would say.
To go into? Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was very young when I first went to India, and I had a couple of experiences in my life where I was at larger public events, and I started making discoveries just about the way that sound literally moved and affected people, and I could see the way that this incredible force of sound, most commonly music, affects people, right? But then also the abrasive effects that sound can certainly have at times. I started playing with my ears at a very young age, understanding what they were capable of sensing and receiving, and that kind of opened me up to this whole notion of somatic listening, right? Of being able to hear with your entire body. Because really, again, these frequencies, all of the sounds, all the frequency and energy that is around us, well, it vibrates and it resonates and goes into our body. So at the tender age of, I think I was 12 when I first went to India, I was walking down the street with my mother one night, and it was just this beautiful night. And we walked underneath a tree, and the wind came rustling through the branches of the tree, and she said, listen to this world around you, because you may not hear this particular environment ever again or for a long time. And in that moment, I moved my awareness outside of just myself, and I started to expand that awareness to the tree that was above me and the rustling leaves, and expanded that awareness further to the sounds of the street all around me and the rickshaws driving by and the conversations that were happening 100 feet away, then 200 feet away. And before I knew it, I was aware, I was listening to everything that I could within a 360-degree resonance around me. And it shifted my understanding of what was capable as far as not only the kind of information, the kind of sensations, the kind of experiences that we take in, but also what we then, in turn, resonate out, what we contribute to that 360-degree space that we are always in. So that was huge for me, and then really understanding, starting to work with crystal bowls and Tibetan bowls, and understanding just the physics of sound and the way that sound moves. And obviously when we record sound, as I'm sure you know, we have high and low air pressure that moves at a particular rate, that when we record that turns into high and low voltage. that oscillates at a particular rate, and that gives us particular frequencies. So we can do all of this stuff to regenerate all of these frequencies, but there's an energetic signature that happens within certain combinations of frequencies. And through working with music, and for a long time, I still do it. I work with musicians and I produce music, and I love being creative, period. And I love holding a space for people to be creative. Tapping into that kind of energetic signature, I began to learn, obviously, the language of music, and then more so frequency and tone and ambience and space in how these particular combinations of frequencies can actually unlock someone's potential. And when you start to see it, it's absolutely amazing. And for me in my life, once I really tapped into it and I saw it and started playing with tuning forks and people and opening up energy points within people, it was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to turn away from this, because this is too cool. It's really powerful stuff.
Wow. Can you maybe talk about what it is to allow space for your voice? What do you mean by that?
Allow space for your voice. Well, there's a challenge that a lot of people feel with, so often with sound healing. People come to me and I work with people on the chakra energy points. And we have 7 chakras that run from our base up to the crown of our head, 7 main chakras. There's a number more. But one of the most prominent is the throat chakra. And I guess why I say the most prominent is I often find that people's energy gets a little locked into place around their solar plexus and then around their heart as well, which are 2 very important energy flow points for someone's energy to come up through their throat chakra so that they can actually speak their piece, say what they need to say. We all grow up in environments where we experience, ready for this? And if this doesn't feel true to you, I invite you to rewrite your own paradigm right now. We all grow up in experiences where we are exposed to incredible amounts of love and joy and happiness and peace. And that ability for us to be able to step out of our way and allow that happiness, joy, and peace to resonate authentically without interruption is a powerful, powerful place to be. Now, we all also have been familiar with the way that the outside world, this world around us, this 3D dimension, whatever you want to call this, how there's certain frequencies, could be anger, could be upset, could be disappointment, could be shame, that's a big one, how those frequencies can interfere in our joy and peace, in resonating in that joy and peace. And some of us have been so incredibly blessed to play with some really angry people in life. And that might not feel like a blessing, but it is. And just allow yourself to open up to a new space. So when we can look at the ways that some of these frequencies that have come in have actually taken away from our space to be able to resonate authentically, we begin to notice how that actually restricts our ability to express. And we tune to these abrasive frequencies at times. It's like a guitar sitting in a building that has a truck going by, or we'll make it a train going underneath, that's just constantly vibrating that room. If that guitar is not picked up and tuned every so often, the strings will just radically go out of tune. It's reacting and it's moving to those harsh vibrations that are all around. So identifying that, being able to connect with actually the blessing that this is, to be able to move through and transmute this energy, allows us to find a new space of expression. And when we have that openness in our throat, in our voice, to really say what we need to say, to be heard, to connect with what our contribution is, the solar plexus and the heart chakra completely shift and almost fall instantly into alignment to allow that channel of energy to open up. And a whole new world is discovered. So when I talk about space for the voice, I am actually talking about physical space that's around you and how that space is affected by frequencies. So tuning into and paying attention to what frequencies are getting into your space is paramount in allowing space for your voice. It's kind of like if you go to a store and you say, "Oh, I really like this vase. This would look beautiful on my dining room table." And you bring it home and you put it down on your dining room table. You go out to a store and you find a statue and you say, that would look great on my dining room table too. Okay, I'm going to bring that home and put that on my dining room table. And you go out and you keep finding these things that you like. And then one day you turn around and you look at this dining room table and there's all of this stuff on it. Now, it's not that you don't like any of it. It's just that collectively it is creating a different frequency, a different resonance of what's showing up in your life.
Got it. That's a really good explanation of that.
So we all have choices as far as what we're going to resonate with in our lives, and that's really the work that I do.
Okay, it's more about resonance, the philosophy of resonance.
Well, there's a conscious aspect to it. There's a intentional living aspect to it, which is I mean, believe me, I've heard from so many people that have played with the sound healing work that I do and sound healing work that other people do, and there's an instant transformation that can happen simply from allowing yourself to be in the space of that sound. When we move a little bit further beyond that point and we start to bring in intention and we marry intention and we infuse intention actually into the frequencies, it's a whole different level of awareness, of presence, of intentional living. So it's really, really, really cool stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. I know you have a lot of sound healing audios and sound tools and processes that you work with. Could you maybe share something with us here?
I'd love to, yeah, absolutely. Let me pull something up here. So this is what I'll play for you is I create a lot of sound baths, and what sound baths are sound frequencies that I often use a lot of large crystal bowls. I use Tibetan bowls. I'll use acoustic and electric instruments. I'll introduce binaural beats, a number of different sound tools, and with that I infuse intention while this is being created. And the creation of these frequencies can literally move in and unlock aspects of your cellular intelligence, your internal consciousness, how your body is conscious and how your entire being is conscious as a whole, as opposed to just, the thoughts of what you allow to pass through your mind through words and things like that. So these are actually highly energetically charged audios that hold intention. And when you allow yourself to open to that intention, well, everything can shift. So as we move into listening to an excerpt of a sound bath called Oneness, I invite you to open yourself up to a state of receiving. And even if you've got some mind junk going on, if you've got some thoughts that are like, this is not going to work for me, just allow whatever comes up to show up. And if there's a space and a desire for it, you can ask it to leave. So before we move into this, if you could all get comfortable. By the way, I don't think I said this. I just want to say to everyone listening, thank you for being here. Thank you for having the courage to show up in this way, for having the willingness to explore within your life. This courageous heart really is the spark that leads you to your divinity, that leads your divinity to its beautiful expression of what your contribution in this world and life are. So thank you very much for showing up and being here. And if you join me in putting your hands on your lap, you can put your palms face up, open, ready to receive. If your feet are crossed, I'd suggest uncrossing them. If you can, take off your shoes. It's awesome. It's good to be barefoot. Get them down on the ground, and just let's take a couple of deep breaths and really feel the grounding energy move up from our feet. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Feel that energy moving up through your legs. Feel that energy coming through your hands. And of course, feel your entire face breathing. I invite you to slowly close your eyes. Keep breathing. And again, allow yourself to notice, just simply notice what shows up. The intention of this sound bath is oneness. The unity that we all have, that we are all energy, that we are all harmonics of this universe. So enjoy this sound bath. Continue to breathe deeply. Just feel into this space for a moment. start to open your eyes. Welcome you back. So, Eric, how was that for you?
Beautiful. It's so immersive. I don't know if music can sound like it's more than 3D. That's really cool. It's just so like it just completely envelops you.
Yeah.
In the sound. It's beautiful.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing. It creates a different space, doesn't it?
Yeah, I see why you call it a sound bath.
Uh-huh.
Like, I really get that. It makes perfect sense now.
It's a deep bathing, and it really creates some profound shifts. It does, and so I hope that resonated with everyone that's listening. And
yeah, wow.
And again, I'm grateful that you're here and that we are all happening together right now. So thank you.
Wow. Now, we talked a little bit about processes earlier. What processes, especially in the context of having had that little experience of your work there, what would you recommend to kind of align our personal will with the will of the cosmos, like we talked about earlier?
I read this line in a book recently, and I just love the imagery of it. The book was talking about the bells and beeps of life and the traffic jams we sit in. It was calling it the machinery of every day, right? The noises and situations, circumstances of what we believe are all part of what we have to live with on a daily basis, and we place ourselves in that process of this everyday event, right? That somehow the combination of blow drying the hair on high and having time to toast a bagel, while we're eating it on the way to the car, so that we can get in our car and hurry up and wait. Somehow these processes are what we seem to get locked into. And with sound healing, as you felt just a moment ago, that space that we opened ourselves up to, right? If we can enter it with process, if we can get into that space with processes supported by the sounds, then we can really allow that energy, that space, that place of clarity and awareness. We can invite that and keep that really in our resonant energy all day long. So one of the processes that I love to share is a morning and an evening process. There's something invaluable that happens to your day when you allow yourself to step into it consciously, and you allow yourself to exit your day with gratitude and, again, consciously. This is the only day that we are here for. This one right now, the day that we're in, is the only one that we're ever here for. So making this now as aware as possible is just a deeply beautiful process in itself. For me, that starts in the morning, and the one that I encourage in people, it starts in the morning when you first wake up. One of the morning processes that I have, starting your morning in such a way where you actually connect with your breath, you connect with intention, you connect with an awareness of self, that centered self. It changes your vibrational frequency. It changes how you resonate in the world and literally what you attract into your life and into your world. So try this in the morning. Wake up. Turn off whatever alarm you need to, and simply start by welcoming your day. Welcome this beautifully abundant, rich, wonderful day. And begin your day by taking several deep, abundant breaths. Feel into the abundance of what air provides you, of how that sustains you. Taking each breath in Letting each breath out. Feeling each breath get deeper and getting longer. Feel each breath enter your body. Feel that cooling air coming in. Feel that warmer air going out. Breathe in. And as you exhale, allow a soft sound to resonate from your throat. Yeah. Breathe through your nose and allow that air and that warm, swelling sound to come cascading out with each breath. And you can actually feel the warmth of your body waking up your vocal cords. If you feel this is encouraging a throat clearing, it's okay. That's totally okay. Let it come, clear your throat, and let it go, and get back to this softness. That's it. You can envision a waterfall of that soft, warm breath, reaching higher and higher on the waterfall and then gently cascading down to the pools below. You'll notice this warmth of your vocal cords if you allow yourself to go there. You'll notice it start to spread to your clavicle, across your shoulders, into your lungs. And you can feel each breath waking up every inch of you. Feel your breath in your toes and your fingers. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Honor your beautiful body. If you feel like a stretch, allow it to stretch. Allow your body to stretch. If you're doing this and you're laying in bed, well, laying down is good. Just allow yourself to stretch your legs out. If you're sitting up already, still okay. Lift your legs up just a little bit and just stretch your legs. Continue those breaths. You can take your hands and actually just start rubbing the tops of your legs. As you feel this, move your hips around for a moment. That's right. How often do you get those hips moving first thing in the morning? But these beautiful hips of yours are going to help you get around in this fantastically beautiful, abundant, lovingly rich and joyful day. And then when you're ready, stretch your right and left arms either out to the side or straight above you. Taking a deep breath, and we're going to open up our mouth a little bit more and transform that sound to a Just let that sound come cascading out. Do it with me. Stretch out to the side. Breathe in. That's it. Bring your arms back to your sides. Taking another deep breath. Let out another. That's it. Now, if you've been laying down, bring yourself to a comfortable seated position. Your legs either stretched out in front of you, or you can bring them cross-legged if you're adventurous. Breathe deeply. Continue to breathe and allow this to come out, waking up your breath deeper and deeper. We're going to warm ourselves up a little bit more. Rub your hands together as you keep breathing deeply and consciously in this way, feeling your breath going all the way in. Cool air in, warm air coming through your throat. Feel it coming out. Rubbing your hands together. Place the backs of your wrists on your knees or on your lap. And now we're going to take 3 more breaths and hold this thought silently within. Taking in a deep breath. The thought we're going to hold within, I am divine love. I am divine love. I am divine love. It doesn't matter what else shows up. Allow that resonance to be felt within. I am divine love. And now, if you would, join me in this simple Om. Resonate with me. Taking a breath and simply Om. Now open your eyes and speak these words. I am awake. I am aware. I am clarity. I am peace. I am joy. I am abundance. Feel that. I am health. Challenge that deeper. I am health. I am love. I am the container for all of my deepest desires. I am the container for all of my deepest desires. And I am manifest today. I am manifest today. I am. I am. I am. Take another deep breath. You may be feeling that body of yours tingling. Remember, this is a good morning process. We can wake up at any time. That's the beauty of awakening. It can happen at any time. Feel that energy percolating through your body. Feel that oxygen reaching your body. Feel each cell of your body waking up. Feel each cell of your body holding that awareness of I am. Give yourself one last stretch. And have a beautifully divine and abundant day. And so it is. So starting a day like that, imagine it for a moment. Maybe if you were willing to go there with me, awesome. You rock. You're great. You're feeling the benefits of that right now, no doubt. If not, or if you feel like you could go deeper, imagine inviting that kind of process into your morning experience. Imagine moving forward from a different energetic space. Imagine what is possible for you from this space.
Yeah, I could really see how that could just change your day entirely. I mean, that's the complete opposite of how most people start their mornings, I think.
Yeah, and I love it because in this Eric, feel it in this moment. Feel it in this moment. Everyone that's receiving that is opening up to that possibility of starting their days completely differently, and that spark, that fire of possibility that it ignites within. Tapping into how we are all containers of our deepest desires, and that we really manifest the possibility for each of those desires to completely live out and play out and attract the life that we want. It's a huge energetic shift for people, and it's an endless, limitless possibility. It's a place of limitless possibility.
Wow.
Mm.
I mean, you showed us with the sound bath that, just the kind of immediate, effects that you can feel from changing your environment like that. Obviously, and then we went through that process. Combining the two together, it just seems like would just have such profound impacts upon us. And it seems like, just kind of a no-brainer on that. And when you're talking about, and then you talk about intention being such an important aspect of this as well, that just seems like, if you're starting and ending your day, it seems like you've got the whole package here. That's to make a lot of changes in somebody's life. That's just is pretty amazing to me.
Well, I'll say that you have the whole package. You have the whole package here, and you have the whole package here, and you have the whole package. And yes, you, yes, I'm talking to you. You have the whole package here, because all I can do, or all anyone can do, is encourage you to tap into that package.
Right.
And that package is, it's so beautiful. And you know what? We all want to see what amazingly beautiful, powerful manifestations that package, that container, that level of conscious awareness is going to bring us. And this idea of contribution, a lot of people feel, well, I'm not going to go out and do this, or I'm not going to. I don't know if I have the energy to be able to do this, or I might not be. I get a lot of that of a sense of doing, and really the ultimate contribution of what you bring for all of us as we are all happening together is simply in your being. In your being, in this incredible state, this unbelievable resonance of authenticity, of resonating your truest, purest, authentic self.
Wow. Jon, I'm curious about, what kind of stuff is possible for the people who are listening here today. Can you take a few minutes and share some of the amazing turnarounds you've seen from people who've applied what you teach?
Yeah, I'd love to. Like I said, I feel blessed to do what I do and to connect with people in the way that I do. Some of the most profound shifts that I've experienced is the vast number of people that have made shifts out of physical chronic pain, and the way that I've had different practitioners, healing practitioners, ask if they could incorporate some of these sounds, some of my processes in what they do, so that they could help shift people's resonant energy field. And I've gotten emails from people who have been in hospital beds saying, thank you. I've been taking medicine for years, and I've never felt the kind of release that I feel when this entered my body. And to me, that's huge. That is about as good as it gets, because somebody is allowing themselves to move past whatever has been locked in, so locked in through dis-ease and discomfort of their lives. I have people who share the rebirth of creativity that they experience working with these materials. Because, like I said, I've worked with creative people my whole life, and I love holding space for people's creativity, creating space so that people can explore their creativity, unabashed, finding that voice, allowing to have space for that voice, to create and express in any which way. So I've gotten emails and thanks from artists who have gotten over huge creative blocks, where they haven't been able to create anymore, and suddenly they can tap in a whole new way. From people that work with the earth, I had one person once share that these sounds are really the only thing that she feels comfortable listening to while she's working on the ground, on the earth, and that kind of connection. And a big part of that is, a lot of these frequencies that I use, they're not necessarily part of the standard tuning that we're familiar with hearing in everyday music. So there's literally a different vibration that your body is taking in, that on a soul level, your body knows all of the frequencies, yet we hear so much of the same frequencies over and over that we forget about those ones in between every so often. So accessing those different frequencies, it has a profound unlocking effect of tapping into, again, your truer essence. I've had somebody who shared with me about a business meeting they were going into, and they were really nervous about going into this business meeting, and they were having a hard time focusing, and they were able to work with the materials and completely shift the way that they showed up for their business meeting. And that changed their entire relationship with the company they were working with. And this is how it can change. It's a matter of allowing yourself to be present and work with the tools to really be present, get into that space where what's possible is actually right in front of you and becomes the next natural step forward. It's not a matter of trying. It's not a matter of, a hard effect or anything like that. It's simply moving into that space where, oh, this is the next possible step for me. And in that way, we open up our individual will to the will of the cosmos, the flow of life. We are all beings of this incredible life force energy. When we bring our own resistance to what's possible, when we bring in our own doubts, when we bring in that incessant questioning, all of those things that can just chip away and take away that space, just like the space of the voice. When we let that in and let that override, we're really just trying to force our own will. But when we can open ourselves up to a much deeper resonance, to being present, to being in this moment, to seeing what that next step forward is, we align ourselves with the will of the cosmos, and each of those steps forward into what's possible, it's effortless. It's effortless because we are in harmony with the universe.
That's beautiful. I like your, stressing on the creativity aspect of it. That just is awesome. I'm very interested in this myself. I'm a creative type as well, so this is right up my alley.
So you've certainly felt it in your life. I know I've felt it in my life. The the squelching that can happen of creativity, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's people's judgment, or you need to do this, or whatever that might be, and how creativity can feel like a challenge, and
Oh, yeah.
it can create a different uh, a different willingness in somebody to even venture there.
Yeah.
And that to me is something that we can pull out of the equation of self, and allow a very, again, this effortless transformation of tapping into what is naturally part of you. So
Great. I get really excited about learning, about tools that we can use to gain control and to just gain new perspectives on things in life. There's obviously so much more to learn from Jon. We asked him to create a special offer for everyone who is listening to this call. Go check out Jon's special offer right now. Experience it for yourself. You can go to www.LiveBigMedia.com/melody. That's MELODY. Or you can simply click on the special offer button that's on the page. Jon, do you think you could let everybody know what they're going to find there?
sure, this is the Awakening Awareness course, and this is a really powerful program of, again, everything that we've been talking about, really tapping into your awareness and how you're showing up. And it's a huge set of tools that will allow you to move into a place where each of those steps that you're taking forward, where you're walking into, it is effortless, and it is completely in alignment with everything that you've always wanted and with what the universe is providing. The Awakening Awareness Program, it's recommended to take it in 5 weeks, but you can really move at your own pace through this. And we go through some really powerful material here, where we talk about oneness, and we use sound healing audios to dissolve duality and really move us away from this idea of separation, more into a place of unity and of oneness. We can look at where duality shows up in our lives, those separations between the life that we want and everything that feels as though it's conspiring against us. And we can shed that and move into an awakened place of oneness. From there, we move into expanding cellular intelligence. And this one's beautiful, because this is connecting with each cell in your body to bring your awareness into every cell of your being. Now, when I was talking before about the 360-degree sense of awareness, this is it to the max. I mean, this is moving a sense of awareness and even consciousness to every single cell in your body. Just as we're these energy points in the universe, each part of our body is an energy point. Each cell of our body is an energy point, and all of them are expanding. So connecting to the billion points of light there, that's what that's all about. And we get into biofrequencies, we get into bioresonance, the different ways that sound moves through your body. And we talk a lot about, and we use a lot of the audio tools of what sounds and what frequencies can affect and help certain parts of the body. So if there's certain ailments that you might be having, or disturbances, there's different ways that we can get into that. We move into sexy and dynamic living, and really just allowing yourself to express the beautiful, sexy, dynamic being that you are. And that's a hard one for some people to grab onto, so I think it's important energy to connect with. Your beautiful flower, the blossoming of this beautiful flower that is you, is such a vital part of what we're all doing here. We move into polarity of the divine, understanding abundance, and finding a balance. From there, we go into trusting the universe, and this is really where we gain the ultimate sense of harmony with everything around us, becoming aware of you above the conceptual you, really moving beyond whatever sense of self may feel like it has certain limitations and expanding way, way beyond. It's really it's a wild course, and I just love working with people as they go through this program because it just unlocks profound levels of how people show up. And ultimately, when we change how we show up, we change this day, our immediate environment. So it's a powerful one. I've got a couple of bonuses that I'm adding in there as well. I'm including a couple of bonuses here. I'm including Life Vibrations Deep Relaxation. This is a powerful, powerful audio that uses binaural beats. Now, we didn't really talk about binaural beats, but the philosophy behind binaural beats is bringing two tones to each ear that actually create a third frequency in the center of the brain. And what this does is this aligns the left and right hemispheres of your brain. So you may have heard, you may be familiar with the idea of some people are right-brained and some people are left-brained, some people are more analytical, some people are more creative. Well, can you imagine what happens when you're able to actually harmonize those two spheres of the brain? So that's the whole premise behind this bonus, Life Vibrations. This is an hour-long audio that you can put on. It's called Deep Relaxation. It is a powerful mover that will move you into the greatest sense of relaxation you'll experience. It's really powerful. We stimulate delta waves in the brain, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful audio. I also included Sunday Sound Bath Confidence. It's one of my personal favorite sound baths that holds the intention of confidence, and this one will really, it's designed to assist you as you go through the process of the Awakening Awareness course to have that resonance with you throughout the day. If you're ever feeling any moment of doubt, you can put this on and you will instantly reconnect with the intention of confidence and create a different space around you. And then lastly, the last bonus that I'm including is a piece of music called Open Heart. It's a very dear piece of music to me. It came into my life at an important transition that I was making, where I personally was moving away from a relationship that was steeped in anger and conflict, and this piece of music was actually an important point for me of tapping into a new realization of what is possible for the heart and what is possible for expression of the heart. It's called Open Heart, and it's an absolute honor to share it with people here.
Wow, that's a really generous offer. I really appreciate everything that you're including with that. What do you think would be, some of the biggest benefits that people can expect to experience, starting right away and then maybe over time as well by applying this program?
Well, starting right away, you'll certainly notice just a difference in the way that you do everything that you do. Is probably the most immediate way. We quickly get into creating a vibrational resonance that sets a whole new space. We work with, there is in this, I didn't actually mention that part of the Awakening Awareness program does have the morning process that I shared. It has an extended version of that with sounds and everything. So it's something you can actually you can put on. You could set your morning alarm to if you're capable of doing that, and you can actually listen to it first thing in the morning. And then I also have an evening gratitude process as well that's included in that. Then there's also a grounding audio process as well that you can use really at any point throughout the day. Immediate benefits, though, you will see yourself showing up in different ways. You'll notice that you eat food differently, that you start walking differently, that you go out and interact with people differently, and that you really attract a different kind of energy into your life. You'll be looking at that proverbial dining room table with all of those vases and statues and everything that you've collected, and you'll say, okay, what works for my vibrational resonance is if we move this over here. And actually, if I give this one away. And literally, the clutter of what feels like distraction in your life will start to move away. So that's pretty much the immediate of what you'll experience. And then the longer terms, it's amazing what goes on from there. And I'm really actually excited to hear from you as far as what longer term benefits have come up for you.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, Jon, do you have any maybe final thoughts you'd like to share with everyone before we go? We're kind of running out of time here, but maybe a little nugget you could leave us with.
Sure, I could do my best to pull out a nugget.
Sorry to put you on the spot there.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'd like to say, Eric, it's really been an absolute pleasure to be here, and I suppose one of the biggest nuggets is just tapping into gratitude. So I'm grateful for you that you have shown up and answered the call of your life in the way that you have, and that you are facilitating all of us to be here and to be connected right now. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I would say we have the ability in our lives to expand beyond the atmosphere of a limited reality. And so often we tend to look at the limitations of the world around us. But what if everything that's happening right now is here to support you, to move into your next great expression? What if we are waking up to the illusion of reality and reviving the divinity we are? What if every fear is just resistance to your own magnificent expression and is showing up to remind you of what's no longer needed? Can you imagine saying, "Thank you, fears and doubts, for bringing that to my attention. By showing me the unknown, I can now expand beyond the atmosphere of a limited reality." Allow yourself to be present for whatever is showing up and witness it, observe it. And if it does not resonate with you, allow it to simply pass and move on. Thank you so much for being here, for being the beautiful being that you are.
Wow. Everybody, if this is resonating with you, please, I encourage you to go check it out. LiveBigMedia.com/melody. It's spelled MELODY. Or you can simply click on the special offer button there that's on the page. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Jon. I really appreciate everything you brought to this call today, and I look forward to our next call together.
Eric, it's been a blast. Thank you again so much.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.